UFC Fight Night, Tatsuro Taira versus Hyun Park ended up being the best fight night of the year. You had Rebecki and Duncan getting in a fucking war. So bad that my wife was looking away from the screen with the blood. You know, that's usually means you got a good fight. We had a career performance for Rinya Nakamura, a highlight reel KO, and a career-defining performance for Tatsuro Taira too, because he bounced back after his first loss brilliantly. I'll break the fights down one by one. Let's start with the main event. Tatsuro Taira found his comfort again striking right away. Right away. You know, Park was never really in the fight. Tatsuro Taira owned him. So I saw, you know, I won't say who, but putting Hyun Park up as a favorite dog of the week. Holy shit, did he get run over? I mean, Tatsuro Taira is too damn good at jiu-jitsu, first of all. So anytime the fight goes to the ground, the threat of submission is just way too high. Like, compare Nick Klein when he had the back of Pulayev to Tatsuro Taira when he had the back of Park. The hand fighting in order to get the primary arm through. And yeah, it was a face crank. That's all you need. All he needs to do is get across that jaw, and it's a wrap. That's how solid of a strangler Tatsuro Taira is. His back control is phenomenal. I mean, remember up against the cage, he was just able to hang on there. This is a bettable kid. You know, this type of reliability is what you look for. So very fucking impressed by Tatsuro Taira, and he's going to be right back in the mix. You know, Brandon Royval is a great striker. He was able to make that thing competitive too. I think he's right back in the mix. And look, Brandon Royval loses to Joshua Van. Van's getting a title shot. So the title's not that far away. You put on a performance like that against somebody who stepped up on short notice, who was an undefeated prospect. Tatsuro Taira deserves a lot of credit. And I didn't even talk about the striking yet. Tatsuro Taira got comfortable and was just able to, you know, be quick and technically sound against Park. Park never really found his range, never really was able to establish a timing, because anytime he did, he was threatened by being taken down, and he was taken down, and he was controlled, and he was strangled. So he should be worried about it. You know, brilliant performance by Tatsuro Taira. Hats off to him. In the co-main event, you guys had a ridiculous war between Duncan and Rebecki, even though there's no S. I'll trust the commentators. Rebecki. Whoa. Was that a good fight? I pick flipped. I went for Duncan. I had it. I'll tell you what, when I fucking pick flip late in the week on the Friday show, it usually hits. And Duncan came through as an underdog against Rebecki. Big damage in the first round. I think that really mattered because, you know, Mateusz came across the cage and he was moving forward. He was walking Duncan down. He was trying to move his head, do some Cain Velasquez shit, just marching forward. The car's in drive the whole time. We're going to break this guy. It's very difficult to break a man like Duncan. He digs deep. He's a dog. We know this. And so was Rebecki, but he's getting caught with too much shit on his way in. Like, you can press somebody and get a style where you land a combination and then you're back to defense. Land a combination and you're back to defense. Mateusz really couldn't get to that place. He was just constantly moving forward, kind of left, right with the head. It was never tricky, right? Like Duncan never really had to work to put a single shot on him. He could find the right hand. He could find his left hand. He just put too many kicks. I mean, there were just too many shots he was hitting Rebecki with as he was getting walked down. And you could have given, you know, Mateusz that first round. Maybe he did win the first round, but clearly lost 2 and 3. A wicked fight. I mean, holy shit. When the fight was over, Rebecki was down on all fours, just bleeding from his face onto the canvas. The doctor was there next to him, and that's when my wife turned away. She's like, oh, shit. You know, this is too much. What a fight between those two. I've heard some people say the fight of the night was Ribovics and Brenner. Come on, son. Duncan and Rebecki, clearly fight of the night. That shit was insane. Duncan does it again as a dog. Again. What is that? Balaji Oki, Jordan Vasenik, now Rebecki. I mean, give him his flowers, you know? Proud of that pick flip. That's why you watch Friday's show. Estevam Ribovics versus Elves Brenner was a great fight. Make no mistake. Those guys went to war too. Elves Brenner just couldn't really handle the boxing, right? Like he didn't really have an answer for it. He stayed in the fight. He's a tough Brazilian shoot the box guy, but when you get these shoot the box guys to move backwards, right? When you make him put it in reverse, he didn't have the ability to deal with the slickness of the hands of Estevam. And he had a full MMA game, but really it was the punching that just he was head and shoulders above Elves Brenner in that department. And so he put on a solid performance too. Really loved that fight. I mean, you were just getting spoiled. Boom, boom. Brenner, Ribovics, sick. Duncan, Rebecki, one of the best fights of the year. And then Taira, career performance. I mean, come on. The top of the card was absolutely fantastic. A brilliant performance by Estevam Ribovics. Yeah, you could imagine him. I mean, these guys, Duncan, Ribovics, Taira, they all made statement performances. And two of those were, excellent fights. Rosa beats Nora Cornolle. Okay. Can somebody teach Nora Cornolle a quarter guard escape? Quarter guard. I know you've heard of half guard, right? That's where you have control of somebody's leg between their hip and their knee. Well, Nora Cornolle needed quarter guard. When she's mounted, she's like turning to the side and everything, and she's just laying there. What she could do is capture the foot, okay, of Rosa, pinch her knees together, turn the other way, and then hip escape, and she would have been out. She'd be out. She'd be out. It's a great technique. I use it all the time. It would be really helpful for Nora Cornolle because she won the first round. And then in the second round, Rosa goes, oh, shit. I could just take her down and she does nothing when I'm on top. Let's fucking go. Does it again in the third. Of course. So, yeah, Nora Cornolle fumbled the bag there with the grappling. Notes taken. That on her back, she looks like you flipped over a turtle. Rosa, smart performance, like an even first round. She goes back to her corner. I didn't hear the corner, but if they were saying takedowns, good on them, and she goes out there and just executes round 2 and round 3, breezes through. Round 3, she got on top right away, solid performance by her, showing a little bit of fight IQ there. Goes through the opening, right? You go through the path of least resistance. That's definitely what Rosa did. Magny, comeback performance against Zaleski, fucked up our parlay. We would have had a nice night over in premium if fucking Magny did not have a comeback against Zaleski. Zaleski, got the grappling going, got the striking going, was hitting Neil with some shots, but Neil was hanging in there. He was never really overwhelmed, right? He's the type, he could be a nail, He's the type of guy where he's gonna be able to survive anything that's not a fight ending fucking, by definition, right? But he's going to be able to survive a few kicks, few punches, couple takedowns, couple positions. He's got a little more durability than you would think after watching him against these young explosive kids, Carlos Prates, etc., who put him out. Zaleski did not have that. And you saw as soon as he got to a dominant position on Zaleski, that's when, Zaleski just showed a lack of ability to deal with that, right? Wasn't hanging on well. When you're underneath somebody and they got your back, right? And they're throwing punches, you can roll, right? You could use gravity and put Neil on his back, where his back's on the mat, your back's on his chest, right? I mean, my buddy Kevin's like, it's the worst position in MMA, having somebody's back. And that's what he means. Like when you're laying on the canvas on somebody's back, it's not easy to strangle somebody with those MMA gloves on. So Elijah Zaleski kind of, fumbled the bag there when he was the nail, right? There were just some fight IQ things that I would assume a 38-year-old veteran like himself who's good at jiu-jitsu would be able to cover, right? Estevam Ribovics fought exactly like I thought he would. That half of the parlay was nice. But Zaleski, not so much. Good comeback by Neil Magny. Showed finishing ability. And what is he, 37? He could still be in like the gatekeeper mix, He could still make some money in the UFC. Kevin Vallejos getting it done against Danny Silva exactly as predicted. I mean, the kid his takedown defense is solid. His striking solid. Is there much more to say about the fight? Not a fucking highlight reel type fight for Kevin Vallejos, but he looked good. He looked sound. His striking's crispy. Him and Gene Silva had an amazing fight a while ago, and you could see why. Kevin Vallejos is a very talented striker, always kind of looks like he's baiting you, like as he moves forward, he's got the head on a swivel and you could just see he's going to counter you. And so Danny Silva never really had the confidence to get anything going there. Kevin Vallejos with the easy decision keeps on rolling. Rinya Nakamura with a wicked knockout over Nathan Fletcher. Fucking beautiful performance. Rinya Nakamura bouncing back very nicely. This was the fight night to do it for the bounce backs, huh? Tatsuro Taira, Neil Magny, Rinya Nakamura. I mean, this was the bounce back fight night. Okay? And he bounced. Rinya Nakamura looking explosive. Saw how happy the team was with that shit. Very, very nice performance. I saw some people falling for Nathan Fletcher as a dog. We didn't fall into that trap because Rinya Nakamura always had the wrestling ready to go, right? If he wanted to just spam wrestling in this fight, he could have done it. But he went out there and proved the naysayers wrong about the striking. I mean, the dude's got a little bit more power, right, than I think he was given credit for. And he's definitely a mixed martial artist, right? He's definitely able to take you to that other place. So that just opens up the striking. The more you're worried about the wrestling, the more Rinya Nakamura can put them hands on you, them kicks on you, right? Very fucking impressive finish for Rinya Nakamura. You'll be seeing that on his highlight reel for a while. And is he not a fun prospect? Let's get Rinya Nakamura in some good fights. Fantastic first round finish at a minute for Rinya. Rodolfo Vieira taking out Tresean Gore pretty much as scheduled. This one we saw too, man. Tresean Gore not really able to make enough happen with the boxing. Like he was able to spend a decent amount of time on the feet with Rodolfo Vieira, which is exactly what you would want. I mean, if you're in his corner, you're like, hey, we need to spend minutes and minutes and minutes on the feet with this guy. He was able to do that, right? He'd break a clinch, get back to the center. But now he has to deliver the package. And the package never got fucking delivered. So Rodolfo Vieira striking good enough to deal with Tresean Gore, and on the fence, he's strong as fuck, man. He's squeezing the body. He's trying to trip you down there. Not the best wrestler, but his jiu-jitsu is so nasty that you're concerned, and very physically strong. So a good performance by Rodolfo Vieira. I wasn't, it didn't knock my socks off, right? But that's hard to do. There were knock my socks off performances on this card. But Rodolfo Vieira, he is who we thought he was. And so is Tresean Gore. Andre Pulayev, comeback performance against Nick Klein. I expected Pulayev to be able to outlast Nick Klein and be able to outstrike him. But for Nick Klein to do that, did you guys see what I saw? Nick Klein was smoking him in the first round, right? Smoking him. Took his back. Didn't know what to do when he had his back taken, right? He's throwing like little uppercuts. The fuck, bro? Strangle this man. You know, flatten them out. There are better places to be. Man, I'm going to land 4 uppercuts from this far. This is going to be great, man. For what? What are you doing? Ask Tatsuro Taira how to hand trap, fucking get the primary across. Come on. So Nick Klein not showing great strangles, although, you know, he's supposed to be this great grappler. Not judging that grappling. Yeah, that's not getting an A, you know? The wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, even Pulayev. Like, there was a time where Pulayev was against the fence. He had just popped back up. It was the first round, and there was an obvious chance to pummel an underhook and then get off that fucking fence. When you have an underhook, you have control of the person's body, right? If I have double underhooks on you, I can just drop down and get to your legs at any time. If you have double underhooks on me, I can't get to your body at all, right? So whoever has the underhook has control. So he could have just pummeled the underhook and got off the, or possibly got off the fence. He didn't do it. So Pulayev's defensive wrestling didn't look good, right? And Klein still couldn't close the deal. You know, they go out there in the second round, and you know, Pulayev showing a little bit of defensive wrestling, getting the striking going. Nick Klein looking gassed, right? Picks his hands up super high, just exposes his body. So what does Pulayev do? He fucking punts him. He just kicks him with the hardest body kick he could muster. And that was it. That was all he needed to do. So a bizarre performance by Nick Klein. You know, I had Pulayev getting this thing probably by decision, you know. But he just gets Nick Klein out of there because Nick Klein just left the ribs. He just pretty much was like, hey, man, just don't hit me in the face, okay? Just not in the face. You guys seen The Sopranos? It's when they're going to kill pussy, and they get him out there on the boat, right? And Tony Soprano's there, and I think it's Christopher. Is it Silvio's there? And they're going to kill him, and he just goes, just not in the face, right? Just not in the face. It's pretty much what Nick Klein did. Gave the body away, and Pulayev will swing that baseball bat in there anytime, of course. Pulayev by knockout it is. Austin Bashi dominating John Yanis. I told you guys this was my lock of the card, and that's why. It was not close. It was not competitive. Austin Bashi's good, man. You know, John Yanis not physically strong enough, not good enough at grappling. You know, puncher's chance only, and that ain't gonna do it. That ain't gonna do it against this young kid, Austin Bashi. And you could see the relief when Austin Bashi won. You know, 0-1 in the UFC. You know, gets it done, gets his finish in the first round, and you could just see him taking it all in, man. You know. So it was cool to see. Very talented grappler, strong kid, great strangle. Very impressed by the technique on the strangle. I like what I saw. Austin Bashi's, you know, put motherfuckers on notice. Okay. I don't think he's a contender. That ain't what I'm saying. But if you're at a, you know, John Yanis level, you're getting finished in the first round. So good performance. Rafael Estevam versus Felipe Bunes called this thing perfect. This was the lock of the night over in the premium channel. Congratulations if you played it. I had over 2.5, which approached even odds by fight time. It opened around -150, and then I would see it go, you know, -145, -135. It kept creeping down towards even odds as fight time came. The reason why the over 2.5 was a lock to me is because Estevam is a solid submission artist, but prone to going to decision. He doesn't mind grinding out a decision. Took it on short notice, and Felipe Bunes is real good at jiu-jitsu. So Felipe Bunes is going to be very hard to submit, and Estevam coming in on short notice probably is going to hang on, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Estevam not willing to, you know, spend too much energy because he doesn't have a lot of energy. And Felipe Bunes, you know, not really able to keep the more physically strong grappler off of him. You know, Estevam able to get it done. And, you know, do decent on the feet as well. You know, Felipe Bunes is not an elite striker, but definitely a capable striker. And Estevam was able to pretty much shut that down. So solid performance by Rafael Estevam. It's not going to be on highlight reels. It's, you know, it is what we thought it was, right? You know, the Chicago Bears, they are who we thought they were. He is who we thought he was. And gets the decision against Felipe Bunes, who I hope will bounce back, man. Felipe Bunes is an entertaining fighter. You know, and he trains with the Pitbull brothers, so he's got to move around Patricio and Patricky. Those boys are thick and strong too. I think he'll bounce back from this. And last is Piera Rodriguez versus Ketlin Souza. They go to a split decision. Ketlin Souza getting out grappled. You know, Piera Rodriguez able to go through the wrestling just a little bit too easy. You know, other than that, Ketlin Souza, a better striker than her. You know, Ketlin Souza hits harder, but not able to get 2 out of 3 judges, only 1 out of 3. So that's what counts. Split decision goes in favor of Piera Rodriguez due to her ability to control where the fight took place. And she moves up to 11-2. All right. That's what went down at UFC Fight Night. We got 4 out of 5 on most confidence. Let me look at those hoes. Let's see here. Esteban Ribovics comes through. Kevin Vallejos comes through. Pulayev comes through. Austin Bashi comes through. Zaleski, the Neil Magny comeback, screwed me this week, but it is what it is. All right. Keep it rolling. I'm fucking super excited for this next fight card for Dolidze and Anthony Hernandez. I've already got 2 bets out. Okay. I've already got 2 bets that I've placed. I'm going to drop them tomorrow in Premium Channel. Confident this week. Let's fucking go. If you guys want to see my bets, DM at mikefinchshow on Instagram. We'll get you over to Premium Channel. Had major dogs last week come through. I believe that this card between Dolidze and Hernandez is not going to be as exciting, right? But is a little bit easier for me anyway to bet on. So very excited about that. I don't bet early unless I'm confident. So I chased 2 lines that I liked. All right. MMA University's coming, by the way. So I've been grinding on that. You guys will see MMA University up on my channel very soon. Even this week, right? You'll see the first clip of it. We're essentially creating a place where you can learn mixed martial arts from the ground up. And I want to start taking it to people. I'm already talking to a couple people. I'll keep that on the DL, but talking to a UFC fighter, talking to a popular grappler. I want to have the best educational resource for training mixed martial arts on the interwebs. And that's my goal. All right. I appreciate you guys being here. Seriously, I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Most Confident Picks. It'll be live, so you got to tune in live if you stay up late. If you don't, you catch it when you wake up on Tuesday. And like I said, if you want to see who I'm betting on, when I place my biggest bets, I give those out on Premium Channel. DM at mikefinchshow on Instagram, and we'll get you in there. Until next time, it's peace and love.